Hi everyone, this is Natasha and these are the instructions on how to put together this little drawer unit. The kits contain 9 pieces for the bases and 18 pieces for the drawers. This is an example of a 12-piece one, so essentially the put together one will look like the bottom. No, right there. 3 rows, 3 columns. So let me show you. You'll be getting, the kits contain 9 pieces that are the ones that create the little 2x2 inch squares, and 18 pieces of what creates the little drawers. So this one just needs to be bent. You'll see that the perforations of the they're not cut all the way through, but where there's perforations that you can feel, you're going to fold in. That way you have the exterior nice and smooth. So you just crease, and you don't have to do it too hard, it's very easy. Just see, you don't even need a bone folder. And then at each of the cube corners, so now that they're all folded up like that, you place tape, double-sided tape, see I have this like this, on the inside tab, because when it puts together it goes like this. On the inside of the small flaps, because they're the ones that make the reinforcement on the inside of the cube, as you can see right there. On the inside flap of one of the taller ones, and the outside flap, outside flap of 2 short ones, and the inside flap of the long one. So when you put it together, it's like this. That gets all glued down. Actually, you don't glue these down first. You do the corner, the side, and I'll just show you. And the easiest way to attach this is to fold it in half, and then meet up the edges. So now you have your cube. Now you can pull out the double-sided tape off of the interior front flaps, because you needed that side flap to connect first in order to have a smooth and almost seamless cube. So now you just fold them in just like that. So now you have the front created, and now to create the back, fold down the 2 smaller sides, 2 shorter sides, peel off the tape, fold that down, and to get it square, adjust it with your fingers until it is, and then it's aligned, and push down. And you take the last bit of tape off of that one and line it up as well. There you go. So there you have 2 of the cubes, which will be joined together with tape, and I'll show you how to put this together. Okay, so the drawer cuts will arrive. There are 18 of them, 2 for each of the 9 cubes. Here's one put together. It has a little finger pull. If you want, you can even add a little strip of fabric ribbon before adhering this front, and I'll show you at which point you'd have to attach it. And there's also a set of coordinating labels on black paper in this oblong and the rectangle pieces. So I think there's 9 of each. And I label these using a chalk pencil or a chalk marker. It goes on like it's invisible. Here, I'll show you. Here's a scrap piece of that same black paper. Let's see. You can't see it being written, but as it dries, it appears. It's like magic. So that's what I use, and you can lightly wet that to remove it and use it again. or you could just use chalk if you'd like. So this is the little drawer piece, and we're going to add adhesive on the 4 flaps and on the inside front flap. And I'm using a little thinner tape for that. Well, actually, let me bend that first. So I'm going to score all the edges. You do it right with your hands because everything is perforated. It's easy to do. So, and again, the perforation, the rugged perforation side on the inside. That way the exterior is nice and clean and without any sharp edges. So I'm going to add strips of tape on, this is the outside, on these tabs. And my scissors. If you're having an issue with your red line tape, all you have to do is save a fabric softener sheet. If you don't have an embossing buddy, fabric softener sheet that is already used actually works the best, and just rub it after, like, once I attach these pieces of tape, before pulling off the actual red line. That why it's known as the red line tape. It's the protective layer over the adhesive. Can have a tendency to get a little staticky, so when you pull it off, it gets stuck on your hands or in your hair or on your cat. Believe me, I've found these all over the place. So a little trick is to rub it with either embossing buddy or a used fabric softener sheet. So now I flipped it to the inside. I'm going to add a strip of tape right at the very edge because that's what's going to get folded over. And it's at this point, before putting it together, that if you want to add a little piece of fabric ribbon to have as your pull, you would turn it to the front with your tabs, adhesive tabs showing. Poke the strip of ribbon inside, add a little more tape, so that way when you fold this over, your piece of ribbon will be sticking out here. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm not going to use the ribbon on this one, so I'm just going to put this together, and I'll show you what's the easiest way to do it. So I'm going to start off at one of the, and I'm going to corner it up. See how I'm making a 45-degree here? Just like that. I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. If you don't have nails, or if you have find it a hard time grabbing the red adhesive, the red line, use a pair of tweezers. True it up here. I do the same thing on this side. Just making sure that it's square, because that's going to ensure that it slides into the rectangle, into the square base easier. The paper has a little bit of a give, and these are just ever so slightly smaller than the 2x2 square. So now all the edges are done. Now I'm going to close up the front, which reinforces it because that's the part that is used being pulled in and out. And this is at which point you would add your ribbon if that's what you want to do. And just tuck it in, and I just go back in and squeeze everything again, and then try it on one of the little boxes. And again, it's paper, it'll get all adjusted. So I have one more to put together, but let me show you how to put together the individual exterior boxes. So what I've done is I line mine up this way, so the larger of the flaps are all across the back. I find that it's easier for me to align them nicely. And then on the sides, because I'm joining these two sides and these two sides, I've already placed tape, and as you can see, I've offset one side and the other side. So making sure that one of the sides has both edges covered, and then I have enough tape that this will be stuck down pretty heavily or pretty well. So the other thing that I can recommend, if you're going to alter it with ink or sprays, any of the paper, do that before you put them together, and definitely before you add your red line tape, because if you use your heat gun to set the colors, they will absolutely melt. Okay, so now I'm gonna, again, because I'm doing this from behind a camera, I'm trying to line them up so they're square. I'm just gonna pinch on the inside to make sure that that adhered nicely. And now I have these two to do. Just gonna peel off the red line tape. And again, it's very important that you have it on the very edges, in the front and in the back. And you can use as little or as much of the red line tape as you want. So now I have them lined up, and I'm going to meet them up and just press. Oh, see, statically I attach some of it. So now at this point you can pop in your little drawers, and I already have some stuff in one of them. So I have some purple rhinestones. So I just have one more left to put together, and then I'll have a start to another little unit. Now the other thing that you could do is you can add strips of decorative paper around the outside. For example, once you've put together all of your 9 pieces, and you, to join the layers, so you'll have 3, 3, and 3, you just do the same thing as you did on the sides, making sure that you have strip of adhesive on the very edge on the top and the very edge in the front. And then I usually run another strip down the center and then join the 2 layers together. And then you'll have 3 layers to join together. And once you have the 9 cube, obviously this is a 12, but minus that top one, you can cut strips of decorative paper and join them around, which will really reinforce this. Although this is really sturdy. This has fallen on the floor, it's been licked by a cat, it's been through a lot, and it's still very, very sturdy. As a matter of fact, I tried to pull off this layer for the instructions, and I couldn't. And I didn't want to take a heat gun to it because then it would have warped the rest of the boxes. So there you go. There are the instructions on how to put together your own little drawer unit. I'd love it if those of you who did pick up the kit from my blog would post pictures, or if you want to do video response, I would love to see what you've created with yours, or if anyone actually used the little ribbon method, because I'm thinking maybe when someone does, I would love to add that to my gallery for future buyers to be able to see that as an option. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching.